Good evening, room 207 students. How are we doing today? Here I am with Rossi, and I'm going to do a read aloud with Rossi from Crenshaw. And I am going to read, I believe it's chapter 23. All right, and for this chapter, I'm going to have you practice asking questions while I read. And I'm going to model it for you, and then you can ask some questions while I'm reading, and I want you to practice asking questions next time you do your independent reading. Okay, so watch me do it, and then we'll practice. I'll have you practice. Okay, here we go. So the beginning of this chapter is a continuation of the last chapter, and it's still in flashback. Jackson is talking about the last time that they were homeless when he was in first grade. We'd only been living in our van for 4 days when somebody stole my mom's purse, which had most of our money in it because my dad's wallet was falling apart. After we told the policeman, he wanted to know our address so if they found the money, they could give it back. We are between addresses, is what my mom told him. Ah, said the policeman. He nodded like he'd figured out a hard math problem. My parents and the policeman talked for a while. He gave them the address of 2 homeless shelters where people can sleep at night. The dads go to one place and the moms and kids go to another, he explained. So I'm going to ask a question here about this, and it's not important whether it tells you in the book what the answer is. It's just you're asking those questions so you can think about the setting, and you can think about inference and the feelings of the characters, and so you could think about more about the story. Okay, and maybe it'll tell you the answer a little bit later, or maybe you'll just have to look that up later, or maybe you can just visualize it. All right, so I'm going to ask a question. What do the shelters look like? I wonder, what do these shelters look like? I've never been to one, so I wonder what they look like. Okay. No way, said my dad. Not happening. Robin said, we are car camping. The policeman looked at Aretha, who was licking his shiny black shoe. He said that no animals were allowed at either shelter. I asked if that included puppies. Sadly, he said, I told him my teacher, Mr. Vandermeer, had pet rats. Rats are especially not allowed, said the policeman. There are good rats and bad rats, I told him. I said white rats like the ones my teacher had, Harry and Hermione. I want you to ask yourself a question there. Where have you heard those names before? We're very clean rats, but wild rats can make you sick. Then I told the policeman how Mr. Vandermeer was teaching his rats to play basketball with a teeny ball for a science experiment. Now go ahead, ask yourself another question about those basketball playing rats. Okay? Rats are amazingly intelligent. Basketball, the policeman repeated. He looked at my parents like maybe they should be worried about me. Then he gave my mom a little white card with phone numbers on it. Social services, shelters, food pantry, free clinic. He said, check back with us about the theft. Meanwhile, hang in there, folks. We were almost to the car when I heard the policeman call, hey, rat man. I turned around. He waved me back. When I got there, he said, how's their jump shot? The rats, I mean. Not so good, I said, but they're kind of learning. They get treats when they do something right. It's called, I can't remember. It was 2 long words. Positive reinforcement? Yep. Yeah, I could use some of that myself, said the policeman. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crumbled $20 bill. Give this to your dad, he said, but wait until you're in the car. I asked how come I had to wait. Because otherwise he'll give it right back to me, said the policeman. How do you know? I asked. I know, he said. When I was inside the car, I gave the money to my dad. He looked like he was going to throw it out the window. You can ask yourself another question here. He looked like he was going to throw it out the window. I thought maybe he was going to yell at me, but he didn't. He just tapped his fingers on the steering wheel. Tap, tap, tap. Finally, he shoved the bill in his jeans pocket. "Looks like dinner's on me," he said softly. Right, and that's the end of the chapter. Tomorrow, I'll read you chapter 24. I hope you have a good rest of your day or a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow.